let's talk some more about breeders. And I just want to put the record straight. I am not a breeder. I do not breed dogs, so these are just my thoughts about breeders. So, many times I hear the people saying, I'm not going to get a dog from the breeder. It's far too expensive. Okay, let's put some things into perspective. Breeders that I know, responsible breeders, are not there to make money. They are there to improve their breed, and most of them will only breed a litter because they know people are waiting for it. Usually they have a long waiting list, and they're very particular about who their puppies go to. And what about this, they're there to make money? No, they're not. Many times a breeder will bring in a puppy or a dog from overseas to use to improve their bloodlines. That costs money. I had even thought of bringing in a puppy from overseas until I heard it would cost about 50,000 rand with the airfare, the price and everything that is involved. So I didn't. But breeders do. They bring in these puppies or dogs to improve their lines. This costs a lot of money. Then you also get some who will bring in some sperm, because that's sometimes an easier way than bringing in an adult dog or a puppy. And don't go and start on me and say, oh, you shouldn't be doing AI on a dog. Well, humans have AI, so let's not get into that subject at all. They do it to improve their bloodlines. Then, before they breed, a responsible breeder will usually try and make their dog into a breed champion. And then they're going to have a long line of grandparents, great-grandparents, parents, all breed champions. Now that takes time and effort. Not saying how much it costs to enter the shows, prepare them for the shows. It's a lot of money. But be that as it may, they've now decided to breed, so they do the responsible thing. They take the dog to have x-rays, elbows, hips, anything else. They also take the dogs to have their eyes tested. In some breeds you need that. This costs money. It's not cheap. Then you've got to look after the bitch before she whelps. You've got to give her good premium dog food. Look after her. And then when the puppies are born, you've got to look after them. Mother still. And then when they're weaned, they probably put on very good dog food. Before a puppy leaves the parents, the mother, and goes to the new family, that puppy is taken to the vet. It is vet checked and given its first set of inoculations. This costs money. If the breeder has not used their own male and they've used another male, they would have to pay the stud fee, and that is the cost of a puppy or a puppy itself. This is expensive too. So when people come along to me and say, I am not going to buy a puppy from a breeder, it's far too expensive, I try to explain all these things to them. A breeder is not there to make money. If they are trying to make money, then I do not call them a responsible breeder. Responsible breeders are there to improve their dogs, not to make money. It is a very sad fact when people start spouting this out about breeders only there to make money. And another thing, they come along and they say, I don't need a dog with papers. I'm not interested in the papers. Those papers are very important, because on those papers it'll tell you the status of the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, what their hips scores are, what their eye scores are, what their elbow scores are. You can check all the way back and see what you're getting. A breeder's not just going to hand over a piece of paper because it's a piece of paper. It's a very good background to what you're getting in your puppy genetically. So don't run along and say, I'm not interested in the paperwork, don't want to pay a lot of money. These things are important to a breeder, and they are very important, I think, to a person who's buying a puppy from a responsible breeder. Sadly, I get these people who say, I'm not paying this money, I can get a dog off Google for 500 Rand. Yes, you can. And I know somebody, in fact quite a few people, who've got a puppy off Google or in the newspaper. And you know what? The one person I know spent thousands and is still spending thousands on this dog. Now it's an adult, it's got huge problems. They have spent more money on this puppy than if they had bought it from a breeder. Dogs that come from breeders, it's very rare that you're going to land up with problems. And if you do, that breeder, if it's responsible, will pay for it or ask for it back, which most people don't do, but the breeders does the right thing. You're getting off Google or junk mail or wherever you're getting it from, you can land up with a lot of problems. And those people who are advertising on those mediums on the internet are not responsible breeders, because usually they don't have papers. Usually they haven't even had their first inoculation. You don't know how they've been brought up. What have they been fed on? If they're charging 500 Rand for a puppy, that's not a bargain. I wouldn't touch that dog, to be dead honest. You're not sure what you're getting, and you can land up with problem after problem, which then compounds itself into lots and lots of money. So, did I go to a breeder and get my puppy? Yes, I did. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I know that my puppy, who's nearly 2, I have not had any genetic problems, no health problems, and it hasn't cost me anything more than the rest of the inoculations and feeding. And of course anything else that I have to pay for, like entering shows or whatever. I am not constantly paying for a puppy that I got off the junk mail for 500 Rand. Would I recommend a breeder? Every time.